So the problem with whistleblowing is however much you feel that you are justified in doing it, as we said earlier, actions have consequences. And if you go out and whistleblow, the risk is that you will lose your job. Or, among other pharmaceuticals out there did, was they put in a firewall, and this was a human firewall rather than the technical one. I'm not a fan of technical firewalls, as those of you know me know my bent. But they put in a human firewall. They actually brought in an outside company whose remit and job, and we were on the receiving end of some of the tasks that came out of this, so my team knew all about this. Their remit from the company was that they were a 100% independent organisation, nothing to do with AstraZeneca whatsoever, other than we paid them to do the job, to operate a whistleblowing hotline, free phone numbers in most of the world, such that anyone could ring up and say there is an issue either in whatever they saw. And that company would then protect their anonymity and would make investigations themselves or get us to perform investigations, and in some cases that was my security team, with a minimal amount of information about who, why, what, when, to see if there was any grounds, report back, and then go back to the person who made the whistleblowing and say, this is what we have found out, and where do you want to take it from here? And in some cases, that could have meant, and I don't have any examples where it did, but that could have meant that actually, to take it further, that person was going to have to sort of say, stand up effectively in public, raise their head up against above the parapet and say chapter and verse about what the accusation was. But most of the cases I know that were investigated, and there were a few, were resolved or problems were corrected where, people were found doing things wrong, and I think a couple of people got sacked as a result of it. Don't know personally. But, that is an effective way, if you like, that corporates can be responsible.
But it's a legal requirement for a US corporate.
It's a legal requirement for.
But if you look at the laws in the US, I'm not familiar with the EU or UK laws around whistleblowers, but if you look at the changes in the laws around whistleblowers in the US over the past decade, it's dangerous. You do not want to be a whistleblower in the US. You will lose your job most likely. You could quite possibly end up in jail, especially if it's against a government organization. You are literally taking your life and your future in your own hands in the US. I hate to say it, but it's something where you had better be certain this is what you want to do. You had better be certain that the reward for turning in this behavior is worth the future of yourself, your family, and potentially your life. So whistleblowing in the US is not something I would ever suggest somebody do unless people are dying because of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, whistleblowing has become kind of a dirty word, but I mean, it would have to be for something pretty serious, like something illegal or seriously unethical. There's a place for it, but I guess there are different laws all over the world, so you'd have to be very careful.